Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's video I would like to be explaining the /tag command, which is the final really essential command out of, the three commands for data packing: /execute, /scoreboard, and /tag. So yeah, just like in my last video, I would like to first explain the theoretical side, kind of just explaining how it works so you can have some sense of just, well, how it works. And then after that, I would like to give a bunch of examples and really explain the specifics of, hey, this is the formatting, this is how you write the things, this, the specifics. All right, let's get started, shall we? All right, so how does /tag work? It's actually one of the simpler commands. Basically, all you do is you tag, or mark if you want to specifically use a word that's not the name of the command. You tag an entity, and then you can select every entity with a tag. Right, so it's part of the selectors. So you can say, hey, I want to have every entity with a tag. You can say you want every entity without a tag, or with a if they have all those tags, or any other selectors, like, hey, if they have this scoreboard number, if they have scored a goal 5 times and they are this tag, you can just select entities really easily, and it's honestly quite efficient. That's one of the main benefits. Often what you do is you have some check that's rather expensive on the game, like an NPT check, like saying, hey, what do you have in your hand? And then if you have a specific item in your hand, you just add a tag, and then anytime that you need to see whether or not they have that item in their hand, you can just check for the tag. Really easy, really efficient, really clean. But yeah, beyond that, that's kind of all that there is to the theoretical side of it. It's honestly quite intuitive, and it's completely okay if you don't have a full comprehension of it yet, because I've explained it for 1.5 minutes. But with my examples, I think it'll all make sense eventually. If it doesn't, feel free to go to my Discord and ask for help there. I'm online way too much, and I should be able to help you. But yeah, with that all out of the way, let's get started with the examples. Alright, so first of all, I've coded up a thing. I'll show you the code in a bit. First, I would like to show you what it actually does. So if I manually add a tag, right now I just want to show the selector. But if I manually add a tag through this command /tag add, and then the name of the command, name of the tag, which in this case is marked, then I start to glow. If I then remove the tag, then after the 1 second, that is the minimum time for a glowing effect, you can tell it goes away again. There's not really all that much to it. That is all that there is to it. Alright, so this is the one line of code that does it all. Yeah, first of all, this is inside of an execute as an S command. So for every single player at their position, run the following things. If you don't understand execute, I recommend watching that one first. I also, in chronological order, I also recorded scoreboard first, but scoreboard isn't really gonna come in this too much, so it should be fine if you haven't followed that one yet. But right, so for every single player at their position, these are the 2 commands that I ran manually. And yeah, this is all that there is to it. So you can say, hey, if, classic if statement, if there is an entity alive, which is me, only me, which, that's not the right file, which has the tag of marked, then give it as glowing. Really simple, but you can tell that this is really useful if you want to have specific people have permissions, but you don't want to say, hey, if you don't want to say, hey, command victory is the main account and command glitchery is the alt account, you could also do that through tags. By just giving the account a tag and saying everyone with that tag does this. So you can think of permissions on servers, stuff like that. Really quite nice and quite cool. Alright, so the next one is extremely useful. I've put this in basically every single data pack that I've made. And that's making commands activate once per player in their entire lifetime. So for example, think of, let's say you have some kind of system where you want to have an identifier for every single player. Some number that indicates, hey, you are player 1, you are player 2, you are player 3. Well, you want that to be, you want to assign a number once, and then you've assigned the number and you want to keep it at that, right? So, what I've done is, once I activate this, I haven't activated it yet, then you'll see in chat, both of us, me and the account you're looking through, said if I now manually remove my tag again, because what I basically just do is I add a tag to everyone after that I've said, hey, everyone without the tag, say this thing. And yeah, if I remove the tag, then it says it again. Remove the tag again, it says it yet again. So yeah, really easy, really nice. Let's really quickly look at the code. So all that there is to it is just, hey, if the entity .s tag equals not ne.old, then do this. Now, this ne, if you've watched my scoreboard video, it might already make sense. Ne is basically because this data pack, would use the tag of old. But if someone else also wants something to activate once, then they would also have it. So if you have the same name occur twice in separate data packs, then you might have them overlap, have them interfere with one another. So that's why you add a prefix. So this is just 2 characters for the name of the data pack, aka new entity, and then you have just a dot and then the name of the actual tag. So yeah, basically for every player, if they don't have this tag, then assign the tag and do something. That's all that there is to it. Really simple, really clean, but extremely useful. So, the next use case is custom entities, right? So you have some entities somewhere that you want to do something special, right? So what I made is simply that if you have any entity with a specific tag, you get fire particles. Meaning, I can summon a pig, which has the tag, and then you can see, oh no, it's a special pig, right? But if I summon here another pig without the tag, then you can see it has no fire particles. Also, I did not disable the AI of these pigs, and I'm starting to regret it. But yeah, that's basically all that there is to it. So yeah, let's show the code. Alright, so it's pretty simple. The frame reference is that it's not in a player command, so this is just happening 20 times a second, not for every player, but just in general, because otherwise the more players I would have, the more particles I would have per custom entity, and that wouldn't make sense, right? This is the summon command to summon an entity that has a tag. If you'd want another one, then you would just add a comma and say, hey, here, a second But this is fine. So then all of this is saying, hey, as every entity that has that tag at their position, run the function of this, which is just some flame particles. What you would generally do is have a scoreboard to basically just have a timer. Just every single tick up the score by 1, and once it reaches some value, reset it to 0, and do some special attack, right? Whether or not that be some speed buff for the mob itself, or sending out projectiles, or anything like that. Tags are used for everything, basically, especially with custom entities. Alright, so next, there is a very simple, just logic system, really. And that's basically delaying something by 1 tick. So yeah, you're doing your command, and 1 tick later you want to do something again, right? So that's a bit hard to demonstrate in-game, without like making a whole minigame around it, because that's when you generally would want it. But what I have done is basically whenever I have a tag, which I need to add manually, it'll say hi in chat, and then a tick later it will say hi again. Maybe I'll add some slow-mo effect replay in order to actually showcase this. But if I press enter now, you can tell there was just a slight bit of delay between the first and the second. Watch that again. I'm very good at editing. Right. But yes. So yeah, that's all there is to it, really. I can just add it again, and add it again, add it again, and you can tell it just works quite nicely. So yeah, let's look at this in the code. Alright, so, well, for starters, obviously, this is in a player command again, so for every player it does this. And you can tell this is mainly just redoing the same command over and over again. So yeah, it's honestly just quite simple. But its applications are quite nice. So basically, first I say, hey, if you have a tag, say hi in chat, right? That's the thing that you saw pop up. And then it says, well, if you have this tag, which I don't, I manually gave myself this tag, but that tag, no, I've never had that before. But yeah, if you did have it, then you would have removed my manually added tag, and also the other tag. And then you say, hey, if I have the tag that I manually added, then add the other tag. But then it obviously hasn't done this, because, no, it didn't when it was going through these lines of code. So that's the end of the file. End of the day, all good. It now has this tag and that tag. So now it goes on through, it is here, and then it says hi, because it has this tag. And then it says this, well, okay, remove marked. Then it sees this, okay, remove marked 2. And then it sees this, but I don't have marked anymore because I removed that here. More commonly, what you would actually use this for is not saying marked here, but saying marked 2 here. So you have marked, and then a tick later you say hi in chat, but there's no, you can't have knowledge of when I did the command. So like this, I can actually, you can tell when the first tag happened and when the second tag happened. But normally you would have like this, so it only happens 1 tick later, not both 1 tick later and immediately, right? But yeah, I don't recommend using this for more than 1 tick. If you have 2, 3, 50, you know, anything bigger than 1 tick, I recommend using a scoreboard. Because that's where numbers are supposed to be, and you can check numbers really easily. if you haven't checked out my scoreboard video yet, I made a really good one yesterday. But yeah, this is all that there is really to this. Really quite neat, really quite easy. All right, so yeah, that's basically all that there really is to /tag. Yeah, it's quite simple, but still extremely useful. If you learn something, and then consider liking the video and subscribing and doing other stuff like leaving comments and things. Once again, if you are confused by anything or want some clarification, feel free to ask me in my Discord, link down below in the description. Without further ado, see you around.